Welcome back to Bronze League Heroes, or at least even closer to it, Silver League. Protoss players here. I was ecstatic to finally sift through the many emails that Jimmy has passed along to me and find this game. A game without a single Terran, but instead two brave Protoss. And now, starting things off, the blue Protoss. Yeah, you may have already figured out why we're here. With a forge right off the bat, it is Sudrak. And on the other side, in the red, somewhat ironically, bluewalkerCZ. Is that Czech Republic? The cannon zone? Possibly. That is a zone he may very well find himself in momentarily. But welcome back. And we've had a lot of submissions. I've been negligent. Almost distant even, like that esports father you never had. But we're back with some more of the, well, the strategies may not be new. The players, well, maybe closer to it. But StarCraft 2, you know, maybe there's not enough time to get pedantic. I'm used to filling time when it comes to the lower level matches, and indeed, it seems that neither player is going to be particularly aggressive. There's just one player who has decided to build just some cautionary cannons here. At the bottom of the ramp, unfortunately, Blue Walker, oh wow, look at that reaction time. Blue Walker, with that split-second reaction, gets the probe back up the ramp, reacts immediately, adds more cannons on. Not going to meet defense with defense, but has decided to build units in the face of this offensive defense. A little supply blocked, but he knows just how to fix that. 3 pylons on the way, and not a particularly ambitious cannon rush. Sudrak, this is a macro cheese. Really a designated pressure. All Sudrak is doing here is simply making sure his opponent is mildly limited in his economy, whereas he can expand and exploit some natural resources at the natural. Looks like Blue Walker is quite ready, though the cannons are not going to come walking up the ramp anytime soon. He's got a shield battery on the way, chrono boosting his warp gate, as well as adding a robotics facility. It looks like Blue Walker wants to take this directly, unless, of course, he goes for a warp prism and tries to go around. Looks like the projectionist that is our cannon rusher, Sudrak here. He knew there was a... Okay, so wait, whoa, is there a recall off that first probe? The mystery... Oh, it just walked into the cannons when it tried to come back. Okay, never mind. Sudrak remembered at some point in the corner of his eye on the minimap, which occasionally he rediscovers, like ancient scriptures or command prompt. But he remembered there was a probe at some point, so he pulled 5 of his very own probes off the line, understanding that, well, one probe can make big problems. But the problems are all on the other side of the map right now as Sudrak reinforces his cannon contain, the cannon exclusionary zone. And even more cannons being slapped down. A warp prism, the perfect choice. So a big reason why you don't usually see cannon rushes of this leisurely aggression is because a warp prism can... That's... Well, that is certainly one way to evade the cannons. His army has remained inside of his base, yet a probe has escaped in order to expand. So very like this is one of the most macro focused. I have to compliment. I gotta take a moment and compliment both these players. Sudrak with the classic 8 cannon contain into triple expand. One of which was, and this is very bold for this level of play, at his very own natural. Whereas Blue Walker, what? Both these players truly understand that more stuff does counter less stuff. They've just have very, very different and different schools of thought when it comes to how to accomplish that. A Blue Walker may not realize, or may choose not to realize, that the Warp Prism can carry units. Well, here comes the Stalkers down the ramp into the Cannon Concave. The Cannon-contained Concave is a bit too much. A lot of damage going out. The Immortal Barrier helping out a lot, but it looks like at the end of the day, it's not quite going to be enough, as the Immortal won't even make it back up the ramp. Only 2 Zealots badly bruised by those photon cannons. A costly lesson, but was it learned? As Sudrak realizes that clearly this strategy is working out, so might as well double down on it. Reinforces now with cannons and shield batteries. Meanwhile, Blue Walker is preparing to macro. Now, Sudrak at some point will be able to get tech. He's mining now from several of his many gases. He's amassed a bank of 600 Vespene gas. And with it, he could do so many things once he figures out what tech he wants. Blue Walker, I am just so impressed by the calm, collected. Now, some part of it, ignorance is bliss, but this isn't bliss. This isn't a passive aggression. This is aggression passively. It just keeps coming. Like, it's not gonna stop. He's got overlapping layers of defense, like an onion. The Onion Cannon Knight. Well, the Warp Prism is on the other side of the map, which could undo. Well, let's not dwell on that. Let's dwell on whatever is dwelling down here, which is one of the most beautiful and nearly symmetrical contains. Somewhere in the realm, let's not dwell on the cannons per minute, which is somewhere around 3 right now. Especially if you count the ones dotting the main, and I assume soon to be the natural. Both players have 3 bases. There's been remarkably little in the way of actual fighting here. The true battle has been fought. A battle of wills. A battle of mental stability. A battle of patience. That fought over the ages. As technically, at no point are they obligated to fight. At least, at no, I have no idea how long this game is. I expected something kind of short, but oh, the Zealots are warped in. And well, there are already half a dozen cannons in a beautiful placement here. The probes might be able to trap in the Zealots. Oh, I'm not locked in here with you, Mr. Zealots. The cannon about to outflank the prism. The probes ready. They've had a taste of blood. Or whatever it is that Zealots have. Essence. No, I think that's a different thing. Psi energy. Sure. Go with that one. And they want more. Don't worry. The only counter to a bad guy with Zealots is a good guy with probes. Or cannons. Well, really, the cannons are a key component. Probes and cannons. We just gotta give the probes cannons. Sudrak, scouts. And of course, this means he finds another opportunity to slap down a pylon. And another pylon, from which cannon shall spring forth like a great geyser of death and destruction for the Protoss throughout. So he can continue cannon rushing. And Blue Walker, in his pacifism, will now himself add that tool of destruction. Actually, he already does have a forge. He's getting 3 Stargates now. The War Prism is still intact. Those are gateways. Gateways do not shoot very fast. Stalkers, on the other hand, slightly faster. So the gateways are being added on. Another cannon contain as he is truly closing. He is tightening the noose, much in the way the tectonic plates slowly tighten against each other and releasing massive amounts of energy in the form of earthquakes every, I don't know, pretty long time. They might have the Richter scale, but we have the Richter scale as the cannon. I don't know what Blue Walker was doing. He may have been consulting his previous strategy guide, but the cannons are online. And now he's called into action. Unfortunately, it seems like there are enough cannons. Feels like a campaign mission. Oh my, there's more! The cannons, the aggressors. And truly so. Even this probe, the probe who's been the architect of this beautiful destruction, watching the enemy crumble before the cannons, and hearing the lamentations of their Void Rays come out, though, as Sudrak has very little. Oh, Blue Walker is microing, which is certainly an idea. Void Walkers, nope. Void Rays, Void Walkers are a different game. Well, a recall of the army. Wait, what? Okay. I had no idea. I love it. It's like a loot box. What are we gonna get? Was it a misclick? No. He's now getting +2 ground weapons and armor. Is Blue Walker here? But he may lose the Nexus before that. Let's go to the Blue Walker action camp. Unfortunately, doesn't quite notice those cannons. We're able to take down the Nexus and the probe. The dastardly probe. The mastermind of this. The architect of this entire pantheon to Protoss power. He understands that pylons are the powerhouse of the Protoss and probes power the pylons. But where they placed that, I'm not sure. I got a little lost in translation. But back to the Blue Walker action camp. He finds a Nexus. He checks it. Playing on his 12-inch iPad. Looks at his probe at an admittedly awkward angle. Realizes there's no hope for it. That one's just weird. Meanwhile, has decided that, unfortunately, his brave Nexus, which he fought so hard to defend, is worth nothing in the face of destroying his enemy. So he will focus his efforts on that. And here come the Stalkers, the Immortals. A Void Rays being added on, and I do feel obliged. As so many times in these matches, I must remind you, in order to win a game of StarCraft 2, you must destroy all your opponent's buildings. Now, I do foresee some potential complications in accomplishing that for Blue Walker. Considering there are still 28 cannons and 9 shield batteries on the map. But the bases are traded throughout the map. It's becoming quickly, or not so quickly, but increasingly unclear as to, I wouldn't say winning is the word we were looking for, but it's becoming, you know what, I'll just stick with it's becoming increasingly unclear. And I will go with that. I'll stop with that. Now Blue Walker has 2 probes. Well, I guess he does have a base here, chronoing probes diligently. There's no defenses in the main. Recall is off cooldown. there is that nexus in the middle of the map. Technically, Blue Walker has more supply. He recalls the probes away from the base, which is definitely one of the options. Some very strategic recall choices so far in this game. Well, now we are left in...
Base is under attack.
Sudrak is discovering Blink. If you just covered up everything else and only looked at the production tab, well, it wouldn't be that surprising to see Blink in +1 in a Protoss versus Protoss. Of course, there's also 20 cannons on the map. Void Rays Immortals. By far, Blue Walker actually has +2/+2 and 1/1 air for upgrades. He managed to get... There's still one lone pylon in the main. Sudrak does not know about the Nexus. He did not actually finish clearing out the main base. His opponent has not... Oh, that Nexus is almost exactly where it's supposed to be. Alright, well... Pylons aren't going to stop the Stalkers. The Stalkers realize they've happened upon a treasure trove here, but unfortunately guarded by the hostile brigands who have plagued him throughout the game. The Warp Prism finally going down. The largest thorn warped into his side. Blinking back. Immortals and Void Rays chasing. The charge runs out. The supplies are drawing closer and closer to even. As Sudrak is obliged to actually build units, and now that he's... I can't believe this probe. How is it still alive? I told the weird probe. He's not weird. He's the Forrest Gump of probes. Well, he blunks in, and Sudrak gonna try his hand at Blink Micro. His hand gets chopped off, but that just makes him a protagonist in a Star Wars movie. So, with that said, he hasn't whipped out any... Oh, Blink's back! And for some reason, the Immortals and Void Rays will turn the other cheek. Or whatever, you know, they got going on there. The probe still. Now, if either of these two players discovered A-moving, that probe would be very upset. The shield battery in a beautiful spot. Overcharge use. Blue Walker has had a great command of his Nexus abilities throughout this game, which has definitely been a positive overall. The Blink Stalkers are getting chased down. Sudrak may have had the numbers, but he wasn't able to bring them to bear in quite the manner he needed. Unfortunately, the Stalker's going the wrong direction. Down to 2. Blue Walker not risking it. His entire main base is depowered. He's now expanding to the corner. Oh my god, looks like Sudrak blunked a little too far here yet again. But it is Blue Walker sensing a trap. Incorrectly, but sensing a trap will head the other direction. The pylon actually will notice the Void Rays moving all the way back to the main, because once again, A-move was banned after the great accident of 2019. And Protoss players universally agreed not to use it. Well, unfortunately, that pylon will signal that most of the army's out of position, but another recall. But Sudrak realizes and blinks out himself. Well, you know what? I may have been projecting. Okay. All right, microing, blinks away. Shield battery overcharge. Charges up the Void Rays. And Sudrak forced away again. And just kind of probes throughout. It kind of feels like Blue Walker is getting very close to... What? And Sudrak just... GG. Too long. And for the first time this game, Sudrak, much like cannons and stalkers, has only a very loose relationship with the actual role of the word 2. for nutting. So, did you think this game was for nutting? Did you think that nutting was gained? That nut did... I can't do it. Okay, anyways, well, that was amazing. Based on the fact that the email that sent this in may have used at least 2 different versions of 2. Congratulations, Blue Walker. You survived. You outlasted the unsurprisingly little patience of Sudrak, and probably would have eventually found your way to victory nonetheless. But Sudrak, with his very brave and creative cannon, the Great Wall of Sudrak shall live forever in our memory, as a testament to how much Protoss players are willing to spend of their minerals, but not of their time. Thank you for spending some time with me, though. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, winterreplays@gmail.com if you got some games to send in. It doesn't have to be bronze. Almost no one is nowadays. But it just must embrace the spirit of Bronze League Heroes. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that. Stay chill. Jimmy.